If you are looking at the sequential synthesizer that are a more reasonable price tag, I guess that you are looking at sequential form, you're looking at Take 5 and Oberheim TU5. I want to highlight some of the Take 5 things that I like, what I make it think being a synth that gives very much value for the money. And first of all, I would like to excuse that I'm recording this video with a webcam, but the audio is recorded with a properly RME interface. So you will get the best of the audio, and it will be slightly compressed, of course, since we are going to put it on YouTube to keep the speech and the synth in a nice level. So beginning with what's really good with this synth, and we're going to make some audio examples, don't worry about that now. I won't talk too much, but I'm going to balance everything. We are starting with the initialized patch in this example, but what I want to show in the first place, what's really cool or nice, I would say, and make this more playable, this synthesizer, is to have a trick up the sleeve. It's that you can make a low split. It means that from here and downwards here, you're moving it either 1 octave down or 2 octave down. I give you an example. 1 octave down, and the rest remains at the high place. Or you can go 2 octaves down. If you want to be more on the lower notes on this side. That's a feature I like on the Take 5, and I think you also have it on the TU5 as well. But that's if you're on the playing part, you know. You can get this as a desktop module, so you won't have like the keyboard and things like that. What I like is that you're getting 2 LFOs, which you do not get on sequential form. And the LFO on the sequential form is like this one. It's global, affecting all the voices. This one has a global, but also one that is per voice. The unbeatable thing with the Take 5 we can argue about is that you have the mod matrix over here. Entering this menu, you can see here we have, I'm sorry you cannot see on the webcam, but here it should represent which slot we are on. We are on 1 slot. If we scroll this list, you have amazingly like 16 freaking modulation slots that you can. And it's a polyphonic analog synthesizer. I mean, how cool isn't that? And usable above all. And then you have, of course, the LFO1, LFO2, the static mod places that, and also the auxiliary envelope, this one. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. This one shares the filter settings, but you can toggle it to be keeping track of auxiliary only and moving over the filter to together with the amplitude envelope then. So I think already there it offers a lot of flexibility. So that's the flexible part. And the cosmetic part is that you have an effect page here with reverb and effect that you can change between different ones. You can change it to like bucket brigade, a normal delay, keep it off. You can have tape delay, tape 2, chorus, flanger, pacer, high pass filter. That's really good if you want to filter out some of the bottom of the sound. Distortion, ring modulation, rotary speakers, lo-fi. I mean, come on, it's so much you get. And it doesn't stop there, you know. For example, as far as I know, the form will leave you with 2 oscillators. This one has a sub-oscillator. And what I like with this synthesizer also, compared to the form one, is that you have a dependent knob for adjusting the noise. And this is so nice, you know. Right direction from center, you increase to white noise. Left direction from center, you increase into pink noise. Of course, the form has some clever tricks up its sleeve, and it brings you some extra noise sources. I guess you have 3 of them there, but I'm not really sure, so we'll leave it there. Okay, so also the filter has a drive. The form has like a feedback for the filter, which gives feeding it back. Like I guess it's feeding it like if you're putting the output to the input. I guess it's something like that, like on the Dragon 6. Okay, so that was my point of view, why I like the Take 5. There is also FM, you have sinus. You don't, so you don't have triangles, you have sinus waves, or sine waves I should say, which make a sound like this. But they're useful. If you put them all together, like this, that can make some cool sounds. I have like a minor complaint about if we should talk about things that I don't like on the Take 5. The minor complaints, which is like this, can be good to know if you're thinking about buying one. This can be fixed with firmware, this one. I hope they do. So if you select the bucket per gate delay, and I take clock sync, when I turn the time value, there's nothing showing me like what time I'm on, if it's 1/8, 1/8 dotted, or triplets. But I'm sure they can fix it with firmware if they want, and I hope they do, because that's the only thing that is like taking the air out of me when I'm using this effect and going to the sync. Instead, I'm dependent on using my ears instead. Okay, so let's do some sounds and show how some of the things are working that are flexible. We start off initializing. And just in the sake of demo purpose, by the way, this one has octave switches here, which is so nice. And the pitch goes from the tune slightly up to 7 semitones. You have the same on the form as well, which is very handy if you want fast to make a 7th. So this applies to both synthesizers, that you can do something like this. And you have a 7th there, very quick and fast. Or what I don't like is that if you just want to go some semitones, you need to use the ear if you want to put like 3 semitones up and things like that. So that's a minor thing there that I think can be a little bit not good. Okay, so let us go to the envelopes then. And what I like with the Take 5 is that if you want to sacrifice the envelope for the how to call it, the envelope for the filter, to sacrifice it, you simply select this, and now you see it turn to an auxiliary envelope. Filter plus amp means that this will behave with the volume as it says here, like. But also, this little fellow now doesn't control the volume of the amplifier. Instead, it controls how much this will affect the filter. And this one is omitted for filter purpose now. So if I turn down the filter cut off a bit and raise this one, so that controls the same settings now for the amplifier and for the filter. On the other hand, if you go to this one, filter plus gate, this is only applied for the filter now, and the amplifier will get gated instead. Means that when I press a key, it's fully open. When I release it, it will shut. And I think this can be noticeable if I have long release times and attack. So now you see. So it's not the amplifier controlling the attack now. It's the filter opening and the amplifier putting maximum volume, like this. This is how the amplifier sound now, compared to the other one. So when you sacrifice, let me select a good one. I think we take this. I want to show you how the auxiliary envelope works. Okay, and now this little fellow will be found under the modulation source. If you press mod design, source design there, if you go all the way down, you have the auxiliary envelope here, and then you can assign it to something that you want. For example, we can take that it should control how much sub oscillator we should have. With press and hold destination and move the knob. And then we can increase with this one now, the amount. You will see it, perhaps you don't see it in display, but that increases the amount here if you want to go negative or positive. So I can use this now to control how much sub-oscillator I should have. So now I've been doing that it should increase. So that increases the level of that. So that's how you use it. And something interesting is that if you look at the display, you might not see it in the camera, but it says P and M, for example, for the modulation and destination sources. P means polyphonic, means like it's over more voices than one. M is like monophonic, so it will apply globally to all the voices then. That's what it means. So sound design wise, this synthesizer, I think you can make really good sounds on it. Should we make a sound with squares? And some a seventh. And we can, now I'm using the filter envelope as it should be. And you have some good stuff here that you have LFOs at our disposal. And we can use this one, for example, if we want to make it control the filter cutoff. Then we have the reverb. This is something that you're missing out on the form. And this is also something that you're missing out on the forms. It's a monophonic synthesizer without effect, that you cannot have delay. And we have another LFO that we can use for something else. And perhaps we want it to control, if I hold destination and I turn the noise knob, I can assign it to apply some noise. You hear the noise is going up and down, the volume of it. So, I mean, you can do so many nice things with it. And it doesn't stop there, you know. The good thing is that since this one is a stereo, which the form is not, you can make some pan spreading. If you go to the mod matrix and you select the free slot somewhere, I think I go to the page, the third one, and I want the source now to be something called voice spread. Voice spread is like making a value for each note I play, and this is so similar to when you make a pan spread on the like Prophet 6, OB6, Dragon 6, etc., or the Rev 2, and then the value needs to be panning. You have so many destinations here, so that's so good with this synth. Let's see if I can find panning. Sometimes I get lost in these menus easily. There we have panning. Now I need to increase the value, and then I'm going to take a max this out now. Now you hear that each note I play is going from left and right speaker. And we can reduce it a bit, not to make it so much hard panning. Take 80. And sound-wise, the Take 5 is very butter smooth. It's not taking over too much in the mix. It's a polyphonic synth that should, you know, I think it's more like not taking over the mix, not being too low. It's staying really nice in the mix where it's in a usable area. Of course, this one has a step sequencer also, so you can record some stuff. And you have also an arpeggiator. The arpeggiator is a nice feature if you want to program some sounds and you don't feel that you want to play on the keyboard, if you just want to hold a chord. And you also have some nice overdrive if you want to beef up the sound a bit on it. And if you've been playing a Pro Tree, I can say that this is a way kinder in the signal path because it's a polyphonic synthesizer, it's not a monophonic one. Monophonic tends to be very brutal in signal paths for the reason that they should be. And also, the filter has a similar thing as the form here, which is that it's not, when you increase the resonance, you're not dropping the lower frequencies. So if I increase the resonance, and so for example on the Prophet 5, the original one, I think that one is doesn't have filter res compensation. I think you're getting the lower end a bit reduced, but that's with a good reason sometimes, because that's how it should be. But this is also nice if you like it to have it like this. It's a matter of taste, you know. And you have I should mention the resonance compensation is something that is more like a later invention. I was seeing it first on the Pro Tree, so that's where I saw it the first time actually, on the ladder filter. And then you have the drive circuit for the filter. If you want to add some warmth to it, you can hear it without effects also. What I like about this cutoff knob is that most of the knobs here are very solid and firm to turn. This one is super light and butter smooth. I like it a big knob also, because this is something that you work a lot with. And another cool thing with the Take 5 is that you have an FM. It's not linear FM, but let's take two sines. And let me... With the second oscillator, you're increasing the FM volume now. Amount, I should say. And we can use the envelopes for this. For example, let's see. We take source assign, envelope 1, destination. We can take the oscillator 1 fine tune. Perhaps not so much nice sound I'm making there, but you get the idea. Let's increase on drive. Let's add some effects. You get the idea that you can do some really interesting sounds with it also. I mean, now when we think of it, and I promise you I didn't make really good sounds what it actually can do, because I have some videos when I make some custom patches. This was more like walking through. But as you already might guess that this offers a lot of nice things, and of course there are many things. You have a glide, you have vintage knob, you have unison mode, and what more would we have that I forgot to mention? A ton of modulation slots, and if you open a manual on Sequential's webpage for this synthesizer, if you scroll down in the manual, you're able to find the sources and destination slots if you're curious like what it can do and things like that in the modulation sense. And I also like that this button interface for selecting programs, and that's for one good reason, because so I don't accidentally change program with this one. I guess perhaps you can change program with this also, perhaps. You can't. And that's a good thing, because on the Rev 2 I'm changing the patches by mistake because of the knobs there. So I like this button layout style. And also that you have named programs is good when you want to find stuff easily when you're naming them. It's a well thought layout. You have the pitch wheel and mod wheel in a good place. It's very compact. You can't go wrong. The build quality is top notch. But of course, sequential form, I'm a bit curious about that synth, in the audio character. But I'm pretty sure that won't bring me too many more new sounds than I can do with this one. It's a more matter of character to that synth, I guess, and that it's more like a Pro One reissued in the modern twist. I would say it's like they are making a Pro One that should be like when they made a Prophet 6 that was not a Prophet 5, something like that. That's how it is to my eyes. So what do you think about the synth? And I forgot to mention that you have velocity also. That's not to forget. I think that I'm going to be fair to say that I didn't rush when I was to get this synth in the beginning. The reason why I purchased it was that I was so curious about to have VCOs and a Prophet 5 filter that is a sort of Prophet 5 filter. It's a little bit modified that has great modulation source, because I recently noticed that modulation sources are, making so much flexibility to the sound, and you really have some nice things here for the LFOs also, and that I think you should be able to make some key reset on them. Of course, in the menu you have things like key tracking for the filter. You have, yeah, there we have it, LFO1 reset, LFO2 reset on. That means that when you press a key, you can make the LFO resetting. I'm not sure. Let's see if this is possible also. Oh, you also have delays on the envelopes. I forgot to mention this. Envelope 2 and 1 delay. So you can make it delayed before it started acting. Let's see about the oscillators. You can turn on and off key follow on them also, on the oscillators. Oh, wait, what is this? I need to check this out. Seems like you can, the oscillator 2 filter bypass. Can you bypass the oscillator 2? That's interesting. I think I've been missing this all the time. Now the oscillator 1 and 2 is passing through the filter. What happens if I toggle this on? Oh! Wow, I didn't expect that. You know, I had this synth and I didn't see this. Okay, so you can basically make oscillator 1 pass through the filter and make oscillator 2 bypass the filter. That's cool. So now, yeah, that's cool. I was actually looking for something else. Key mode last, that's what I prefer. You can have individual glide on the oscillator. Oscillator 1 and 2 glide. Oscillator 1 fine frequency, the same like that. Glide mode, fixed unison, detune. Yeah, and you have the slew of the LFO also if you want to smooth them out. Pitch bands, things like that. Envelope repeat. Ah, there it is. So that makes the envelope repeat over time when it's reached its decay state. Can be very useful. It can do the same with the volume. And repeat on both. As you can see, this is a dream if you want to have advanced programming on a VCO-based synth. And this is the format I'm dreaming of to have it like the Trigon 6 filter and all these things, you know. That would be so cool and nice. That would be one of my favorite filters then, together with this one. And of course I like the the Oberheim filter as well. So what's not to love about this one? I think that we cannot complain about the price setting for this one because good built and gives so much that you can do with it. So what do you think? Do you think it's worth to add some extra money to get this one instead of the Form? I think it's a matter of taste, but it's undeniable that this is a good synthesizer, and this is a really good piece of gear in the studio if you want to make complex analog sounds. As always, have a nice time now, and I hope you can make some good decisions. And if you have this one, enjoy it. If you're not saving up to it, I wish you the best luck. It's a good synthesizer, and you won't regret buying one.